Assam. I'm working as a Chief Strategy Officer here in the financial industry. And my comment and question was very much related to your last comment. I've been now working here and abroad in the financial industry, and I've come quite senior. But really my dream would be to also because it allows me a certain amount of entrepreneurial flexibility to have my own company. And I also wanted to make the comment that I have experienced that by and large, whatever roles I've been given, whether it's the strategy role, I had an earlier institutional sales role, I've had to be very entrepreneurial and sort of a doer to really get to where I am, because there are intermediary glass ceilings as well, not just one at the top. So certainly that is a dream for a lot of women who are working today in Pakistan as well. The question comes when you're supporting a child, when you have responsibilities, and perhaps you don't have a spouse to depend on. The question comes, where does one go to get the right partners, to get the right kind of angel funding, which we were earlier on talking about when Abraj was talking. I have to date not found that kind of support system in our industry. And even though you said something which was very interesting, that you go to an angel fund or a VC after you have the business going, you have your cash flows and all, but in the case of a financial industry or a financial advisory services, really your professionalism, your ability to get things done, and your expertise is what you're banking on, and hopefully that's what. So what does someone like me do? And that would very much feed into what you said, women entrepreneurs. What do women entrepreneurs do?
So there are many dimensions of your question, and the first thing I'd like to say is that the research shows that most entrepreneurs start their own business more out of a desire to be independent than out of a desire to make gazillions of dollars. Secondly, no, I said independent. You said flexible. So I'm coming to that, all right? The second thing is, if you want to work 30 hours a week so that you can have the flexibility to do your other job, which is raising your kids, you're not fundable. You shouldn't expect to get outside funding, because outside funding, once you take outside money, then you light a fuse because they want to get liquid. And they should, because the professional money has responsibility to its limited partners, as you described so well in your talk a moment ago. So you can't work 30 hours a week and have a lifestyle business and expect angel funding. So change your expectation. You can get customer funding and you can run a small business. But if you take outside money, you have to work 80 hours a week or more for 20 years. And that's the way it is. So outside money wants workaholic maniacs. I'm not encouraging you to throw away all your other responsibilities, get outside money, and go build the next Oracle, right? I mean, that's you could, but I don't think that's. So I think there's this matching of expectations, and if he gives you money, excuse me, I'm just using you as the convenient example of a professional investor, right, who loves Pakistan as we all do. His investors will sneak up in the middle of the night and kill him, because he's supposed to invest in honest-to-goodness, workaholic maniac entrepreneurs who will have the potential to create 20x on the investment. So those are some of the issues. Now, is it good business to have men and women like you working 30 hours a week, I'm using it as arbitrary, but part-time, who are also taking care of other businesses, or
Before we take this conversation further,
yeah.
particularly say lesser hours.
Okay.
And I would like to,
Let-
that will take it to a different dimension.
I picked 30 as an example, so it could be 50, but it ain't 80.
It even adds a flexibility. I'm not talking as that it could in any way mean lesser results, because obviously where one is, if you achieve a certain level, you can't do it if you're not entrepreneurial, you don't put in the hard work. But there are sometimes in certain environments, we're talking about teacher assistants here, in our system, there is there are a lot of constraints that are there for an average working woman. And I think that since I have worked abroad and I've worked full time with a child, I think that there is a fine line there between saying lesser hours and being able to do the same thing, depending, as long as you're result driven. And I don't see that environment very much in our current setup. So that's why I want to make that distinction. And I think that the women that do succeed over here do it despite the fact that there are these constraints, and they do work that extra hours. It's not lesser hours. I would like to say that. Thank you.
Okay. And I also want to say that the whole ecosystem plays a role. Now in the United States, one of the biggest problems we have is the schools are closing earlier. And so one member of the family has to go home at 5 o'clock, which is not so